Sign up today.
The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, everybody, to an excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, do we go into the breach, dear friends?
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And what do we have? Well, another day, another dashed hope for the ever-present Bears. We're up 33 points on the S&P. Cash Dow's up 290. NASDAQ's up, let's call it 98, 99. We are up a little bit higher, but not that bad. Still seeing biblical scale shorting of equities, why the big men of the street are avoiding puts in options. So we've got a tale of two cities. Generally, the less street-bound folks short equities, sell short. And the bigger guys on Wall Street, they want a bigger gun, and they go after the out-of-the-money puts, which are almost nothing right now. But at the same time, we're seeing land office business in shorting in some of the stocks with the biggest names. In fact, I want to look at it, and there's just so much time in the day. We had a caller a few days ago that was looking at shorting Apple, and I'm not liking the short, but the biggest thing is you still have close to 20% shorts every day in Apple, and generally markets do not. It's kind of like the proverbial watch pot that never boils. When you're always shorting something, it hardly ever goes down. We're up $3-4 on it again today. Options suggests somewhere north of 310 for next Friday's expiration. So far, it just looks like the market's going to creep up all the way through Memorial Weekend and drive the shorts batty and maybe bat excrement crazy. But in fact, I had a couple of emails today, so why don't I just talk about it right off the top of my head? That is, the market goes down about 25% of the time, although it goes down 3 times as fast as it goes up. The problem is that you have to make sure that you're short at the right time, because even the worst stock in the world still is only going down maybe 25% of the time. Especially after big moves down, everybody believes that they're going to make a land office business by shorting the market once again. It rarely pays off. In fact, generally, the market continues to have spikes. Those spikes continue to drive prices higher. Everybody reshorts after they get stopped out, or if they're smart enough, they get stopped out. The market does it again, and eventually the shorts give up. They finally cry uncle, and you know how they do it, how you know they did it? There's no volume, not just a little volume. There's no volume at those highs. They say uncle, and generally before you can say Bob's your uncle, which I'm not exactly sure why you would say that or where that saying came from, the markets retreat so fast that it'll make your head spin. Unfortunately, I don't see anything out here that says shorts have at all gotten the lesson. They're going to be beaten like the proverbial rented mule until they all quit. And at that time, you'll find me clicking the little button that says short. But until then, I'm not a big fan of saying that the market is going down. In fact, I think in some kind of perverse way, the short sellers lull the longs into a false sense of security, because as long as they don't sell, the market just keeps going higher and higher and higher. And here's where I would insert a little Grandmaster Flash, white line, higher, higher. Anyway, if you know the song. But we can't do that because YouTube would say ixnay on the music A, with my little bit of pig Latin there. Anyway, watch when the shorts give up. When they all quit saying the end is nigh, when they all kind of just, I said it today, I think in my newsletter, capitulate. That's the word I'm looking for. When they capitulate, the high is in. Until then, we've got more grist for the mill as we go higher. Options continue to show that we probably are going to see 3,000 before next week is out on the S&P cash. I suspect that may be a very good signal that maybe the top is in, but it may take all the way until Memorial Weekend and everybody comes back before we see any kind of pullback. Now, maybe we get some kind of news like a meteor hits or something else, but is there anything that would even come close to the deluge of negative Nancy, Debbie Downer information we get on a continual basis? Probably not. So I'm going to give you some good news. I'm going to give you an alternate theory, as we talked about yesterday. Last week, the tests, some 40,000 tests down in Florida for the pandemic virus, 96% came back negative. This week, 98%. Who thinks that 99% is what we're going to see next week? Now, I know it's not all over the United States, but at the same time, we've got half of all deaths in 3 states. That leaves 47 states to keep running, to keep moving the football down the field. I kind of feel like a lot of times like Carol O'Connor in Kelly's Heroes. Everybody's telling him how everything is going to not work. You can't do it. And he's sitting there listening to the radio and Kelly going in to steal the gold. Of course, he doesn't know that. But there was a little bit of incentive for those guys to go the extra mile, and they did so. Now, I know it's just a movie, but I like it. It's fun. It's happy. It put a smile on my face, and Debbie Downers do not. Anyway, news that's good. If it bleeds, it leads, is the old saying in the newspaper business and in the TV business. Why can't we just have a little bit of positive thoughts for a while?
Don't you knock it off with them negative waves? Why don't you dig how beautiful it is out here? Why don't you say something righteous and hopeful for a change?
Always with the negative waves, Moriarty. Always with the negative waves.
Well, we'll have none of that, Mr. Moriarty. Not on this show. Not on my watch. We're going to have a positive and good time. Whether you're short or long, you shouldn't let the direction of the market really affect you that much. Neither fish nor fowl, neither manic nor depressive. Kind of an even keel. We'll be back.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today. TFNN is launching an open house for our Tiger's Den. For a limited time, you can get a 30-day free trial to the Tiger's Den. Just enter promo code OPEN at checkout and pay nothing for 30 days while you try out your Tiger's Den membership as part of our open house. With market volatility at an all-time high and people all over the world working from home if possible, TFNN is hosting an open house in our Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is an interactive chat room that runs all day where other tigers and tigresses discuss trading ideas with the hosts and members, along with charts and current market news, as well as live access to the charts the hosts use during their programs. Join us for the Tiger's Den Open House. Begin your Den membership today by just entering OPEN at checkout and pay nothing while you try things out for 30 days. For all the details and to start your Den membership today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the TFNN Tiger's Den Open House taking place now. Sign up today.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And of course, yes, I am answering my emails here. And yes, I do sing Look on the Bright Side of Life many times. Eric Idle, great song. Sometimes things in life are bad. They can really make you mad. Other things just make you swear and curse. But when you're chewing on life's gristle, don't grumble, give a whistle. And this will help you think things turn out for the best. And always look on the bright side of life. I'm going into a weekend. I'm going to have a good time, no matter how many bad things I hear. You're not going to be able to get me to go south on a great weekend with great weather and great sailing possibilities. So what else do we have going on? Oh, we got a little bit of history. So why don't we do that?
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
1886. On this day, German scientist Carl Gassner has issued a German patent for the first dry cell battery, which uses zinc as its primary component. U.S. patent will be issued to Gassner in 1887. His battery is much today like carbon zinc batteries, general purpose batteries, although most people use alkaline, a little different chemistry. One of the most interesting things that people will bring up is they think that batteries are like electronics. Although related, they are not. They are chemistry. And guess what? Chemistry moves at an incredibly slow glacial pace. There are very tough ways to make things, and better batteries are one of those. Of course, we've got all kinds of newer batteries with higher density, but nothing that even comes within an order of magnitude of gasoline. For the same weight of gasoline, you darn near have a nuclear bomb. So as we get and look at a lot of cars going to electric vehicles, electricity is probably the way. Batteries, probably not. Chemical reactions always leave a little waste. Eventually, you have to throw the whole thing away. There is a lot of effort to working on what are either called solid-state batteries, supercapacitors, other ways of storing electricity other than chemically. The problem with all chemical batteries is it takes a long time to put the power in, takes a long time to get the power out. And with gasoline at $1.50, it's also very inexpensive to buy a car that burns all those horrible, horrible, nasty critters from 200 million years ago. None of them you would wish in your backyard. So we will continue on. Anyway, not a lot going on here today. My guess is we're going to kind of go out here about this level. I don't see much that changes. Somebody in the den said something very interesting, and that was that the premiums for higher prices were almost nothing, and the premium for lower prices are almost nothing. Unless we get some kind of news event, doesn't look like the market's thinking that there is much movement before the end of the day. Anyway, you can be called at 877-927-6648 and hit me with your positive waves. Earnings out over the last night and this morning to Applied Optoelectronics. Let's get this back here. This thing was once the belle of the ball. It's always feast or famine in this business. Down a little after running some shorts out yesterday. Don't think a lot has changed out here. It is gone from $5 to $12.56 though. I would keep my eye on it. If it could get back to about $7.50 on light volume, that may be setting up a monster ABC on the way higher. Remember, feast or famine. Exxon, AXON, Enterprises, huge pop higher today. And with some volume. So watch that one. Looks like it's going back to $90.10. It hits that again, 80% chance it's going to 100. So if you could get it on the pullback to maybe 75, that would be interesting. Again, I'm suspecting that we probably hit some high around Memorial Day, so it may be later in the summer before these things play out. Arcadia Pharmaceuticals up a little bit, didn't hold much. ADT, why is it so slow today? There we go. The ADT, I've got much longer time frames here. Just sideways, nothing to write home about that. Air Lease, amazingly, this is still in business. Talk about being in the wrong business. Did go to 841, and talk about if you would have bought the blood in the streets, still 26.83 today. So apparently they're not expecting everybody to just fly him into the ocean and say sayonara to flying. Alarm, testing its previous high today on about half the volume so far. We'll see how the end of the volume comes in. Symbol is ALRM, but it could get the volume by the end of the day. ANIK, which is Anka Therapeutics. A lot of pharma stocks in the last few days. We'll talk about what's coming next week, maybe in the next segment or two, if I see how many I can get through this. Anka Therapeutics, same thing, down a little bit. Let's see. Let's hit some of the highlights. Avalara, didn't want to hold it through earnings. We bought it and sold it and bought it and sold it a couple of times. In the Tech Insider and made some really good money on it. Could have held on it a little longer. Did kind of rotate off the highs out here today, but not a surprise. What a run from the low $62 range to 103 today. What else do we have? Boise Cascade, up a little bit, not much in the way of volume. BKNG. Booking. We're going to talk with Tom O'Brien about this in the Tech Insider segment. They've been in the news this week. Pretty interesting claim. Of course, they're probably not in the best sector to be in right now, but kind of interesting that they're even holding $1,400. Not much going on there. Digital Realty was up a little earlier today and now closing lower, but still kind of in this long trading range going back to kind of the 9th of April. Again, these guys lease space and other things to a lot of the startups. But not a lot of volume either way on this one. Very interesting stock, though, way to play a lot of those cloud services company. No charts, huh? We're going to go to John and Phil. Oh, we're going to the break. Forgot about it. Sorry. Didn't look. It didn't click today. John, hopefully you can hang on through the break, and we'll get to you on the other side.
If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we go to John in Philadelphia. How you doing today, John?
Good afternoon, David. Thank you.
What are we going to talk about today?
David, I wanted to ask you about Qualcomm, the business and the stock. Of course, with the surge in everything digital, the use thereof, all the tools to make it work, I am wondering, will the 5G rollout experience some similar tailwind looking out the next 12 months? Wanted your views on that, please, and what you think of Qualcomm stock in this general area.
I'll give my idea on the stock, which is I think it needs to consolidate a bit. The rollout really is going to be kind of at the tail end of this year, so I'm looking for probably the big moves in Qualcomm to start maybe midsummer out here. Between that, probably consolidating around 80 to 75. The company I like a lot, and the reason why is there's a lot of companies that make things. And sometimes it's advertising or shelf space, or there's a lot of reasons to think that your product's the best, and most people don't look around. One of them is something that is in the industry called black magic, and that is something that you have to know intuitively to get right. And I think of the race car driver, Dale Earnhardt. They said that he was one guy that was kind of like Kelly Johnson at the Skunk Works at Lockheed, who could see the air. He knew intuitively how to race his car around the big racetracks where it was all about drafting and everything else. He could literally see it. Kelly Johnson, the same thing when he was building airplanes. There's some people that just get it and they have an intuitive idea of how all that black magic works. At that point, a lot more people have been able to figure stuff out mathematically. But a lot of times, especially back in the 50s when they were making all those jets and stuff, there weren't all the kind of fluid dynamic calculations we have now, software to figure it all out. That is kind of the same thing in Qualcomm, where Qualcomm deals with radio frequencies, which is a black art. Not everything works the way you think it should work, and a lot of the secrets that they develop after working year after year with it is something that never is put down in any textbook. So when people like Apple hate paying Qualcomm a dime, they just figure that Qualcomm should be happy that they made an industry for them that could grow as big as they did. And that's kind of a lot of hubris from Apple. But they do believe that way. They believe that whatever Qualcomm sells to them for $50, they probably should give it to them for $5. That we're Apple, and you should just lay down before us, prostrate. There is it's not, I'm not making that up. I've talked to people in the industry, and that is the way that Apple comes by you. They just want to crush you and get the absolute best price, kind of like dealing with Walmart as a supplier. You're just, I could tell a couple of jokes out here that would demonstrate that, but they would never make the air. So
lest we not forget, Apple did exactly that to that company that made sapphire glass.
Correct. There's three more out there that if I sat down and thought about it, I could probably come up with. They've crushed a lot of companies. Now, Qualcomm, of course, got into a big fight with, Apple got in a big fight with Qualcomm, tried to crush them. By the time it was all over, of course, Qualcomm had already moved to 5G when Apple was still fighting with lawsuits on 4G. But the whole point of my conversation is there's something that can't be duplicated easily. Now, maybe Apple's hired the right people away, but generally there's a whole kind of industry in a company that holds the key secrets. And if they use any of those to make a new product at Apple, they're going to get sued by Qualcomm and probably win, right? So Apple, I know, has hired a bunch of engineers to try to make sure that they have either features and or products that they don't have to pay royalties on so they can make even bigger margins, on those products. So for me, Qualcomm, great company, consolidation. The big run is probably going to come this fall. I talked last week in the Tech Insider about a company that I think could do much better than Qualcomm as new things come along, I'd probably own both of them at the right price. So there are others in this area that are head and shoulders, but you want a moat, you want a patent, you want something, right? That means that the Chinese don't just come in and rip you off for everything. And again, don't think that Qualcomm has a lot to worry about the Chinese stealing. Maybe they could steal a design and duplicate it, but they won't be able to make the next design without doing the exact same thing. There is some kind of secret sauce. And I guess it's kind of like being a chef. No one knows just that extra little thing you do that makes your thing that much better than everybody else. Real or imagined, right? It could be real, it could be made up. But Qualcomm has that. I really came along this with early on when I was working on nonlinear video editing systems. And of course, there were linear video editing system. That meant 2 tape decks. You had to control 2 tape decks who had all this machinery moving around from probably Panasonic or Sony or something else. And you had to make these 2 decks move exactly parallel, even though the machines wore and the capstans were maybe a little sticky and everything else. It was a nightmare. And those guys made huge amounts of money over understanding how every tape deck worked. You're not going to start a company tomorrow and understand, well, say circa 1992, how every one of those tape decks worked, right? The high end, the low end. Who else is going to come in and try to knock you out but somebody that has something better, which is nonlinear video editing systems? So you probably can't buy linear editing video systems anymore because everybody's gone to nonlinear. But, is there something that's going to replace radio frequency? And I don't think I see that anywhere soon. It was kind of easy to figure out that nonlinear video was going to wipe out linear video. It's kind of easy to see how memory is going to wipe out spinning hard drives from Western Digital and Seagate. All the kind of black magic that Seagate and Western Digital have amassed for spinning hard drive goes away with memory. Everybody buys the same memory controller. They buy memory, and they put it together. It's almost impossible for spinning drives to compete as the price comes down. So I like it.
I thank you. Sorry, I thank you on that. And just a follow-up question. Since Qualcomm subcontracts out the actual manufacture of all the Snapdragon chips and such, are there any risks that you're aware of with their supplier? Is it Taiwan Semi that manufactures for them?
Yeah, I don't see a problem. Their manufacturing is good.
Thanks so much.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the tax opportunity zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Okay, got some good questions here. Still up 35, 36 points on the S&P cash. Options are collapsing, which is a good sign that probably not much action before the end of the day. My guess is that you may have some people that shorted, and they may cover the last few minutes of the day, but not much else happening till then. Let's see, do I have that? I do not. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay. Oh, what is this? I don't know why this did that. Okay. Good question about all the volume coming into Spirit Airlines. When Buffett washed out all his airlines, he may or may not have done it all when everybody else said he did. But my guess is all the volume coming in and out of here were accumulated trades throughout the week that maybe just got closed today. You can go to as Buffett actually said last weekend, you can go to the New York Stock Exchange, tell them you want to sell a ton of stock, and they'll work out the whole deal so it can just be done. Generally, when you see all this volume and the stock price doesn't move that much, you can look and say there's probably some kind of big deal. We'll probably see some filings in a few weeks or a month, and you'll see that some fund decided to go in here and try to buy it at the lows or something. So generally, you see all the volume, not huge movements in the price. That a lot of times is big actors in the background. What is the other question out here today? What do I think that is going to drive the market up through the rest of next week? And my answer is that we continue to see some pretty draconian news in the crude space. Now, why the oil sector only is like 6.5% or 8%, something like that, of the S&P 500 for cap weighting. It correlates to about 30% of the market. That is, if prices are going up in crude, people think that the economy is doing better, and it spills over into other things. So what am I thinking? I think we've got most of the money maybe in the individual indexes. There'll be individual stocks that go much higher, mostly on huge amounts of short covering, probably into the 15th. After the 15th, the volume should go down all next week. But after next Friday, the volume should really start to decelerate, let me put it that way, into Memorial Day weekend, and you're going to have astronomical biblical scales of short sellers in these individual stocks. They're going to slowly cover until they force other folks to cover, and it becomes a stampede to get out before the long weekend. And generally, if you're going to go short, after a long weekend, not a bad time to actually plant a flag. I'm not telling you to do that yet, but it is one of the things you might want to think about. Anyway, my thought is that we've got the rest of this gap that goes back to the 6th and the 5th that will probably get covered. That takes you up to about 3,000. And my guess is with the Baker Hughes numbers showing the huge, literally crash in the amount of rigs producing crude. There's the old saying from our friend that used to be here on TFNN, the best cure for a low price is a low price. And the devastation in that sector, my guess, is probably going to last maybe a couple more months. But at that point, I think we've turned off all the spigots of crude coming into the system. There'll be a little bit of a lull, which I think has been over the last 2 weeks, although that's gotten better. But my guess is that we're going to have kind of a snapback probably next week, and that part of the market is going to drive the rest of the market a little bit higher. We'll have individual whack-a-mole days next week for incredibly highly shorted stocks. Next question from, I want to say Jewel. Not exactly sure the pronunciation of that on Apple. I was saying Apple back up probably into the 315 area. Well, we're darn near there. Got to 308.50 today. But I think we finished the rest of the gap and fill it from up to about, 312? So we got another $4 to go. But it certainly looks from options that's where it's going to expire next week. I don't see a great deal more on the upside for Apple. But certainly the downside, probably, again, I don't see the market really turning until probably after the 3-day weekend. All you got to do is hold these prices up, especially if you're somebody long and you want to get out of Apple. Is there a better way than to push the price up and then just slowly get out of it? Don't do it and crush the price, but get out of it. Someone was talking this morning about, I think it was Larry Pesavento, about Buffett telling everybody about how he was buying nothing but silver. And, of course, 2 weeks later, you found out that when he had his filing that he had no silver left. They're always talking their books, always saying one thing out one side of their face and into another. These are stock operators. But there's nothing better or sweeter to a guy on the street than being able to squeeze everybody up and then, as they cover, sell them the shares that you wanted to sell anyway. And if you do it right, it's almost like they weren't there. You don't even see them. So that's it. Okay, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. And my cup is not showing now. Okay, let's see, what else do we have out here? Okay, so we answered that. We were going to get to earnings. Do I still have time? We'll do it in the next segment. Of course, today is also Tech Insider Day, so we will go to Tom O'Brien, or with Tom O'Brien, at 3:30 today. Have some interesting things to talk about in the news in technology. I'm bringing up next week's earnings. Monday morning, Arcadia Research, natural resources, a couple of those. Not much going on. Now, after the bell, MBNA on Monday night. A lot of also-rans, don't see much else. Tuesday morning, Tidewater. They still in business? Not that much. After the bell, man, it's light Monday and Tuesday. I thought it was going to be harder. We get into Wednesday. Wow. Are earnings really over? I looked at this a couple days ago. Man, there isn't much in the way of earnings next week. DraftKings, I know a lot of people have been talking about that in the last few days. They come out Friday morning next week. Not much. In fact, This looks like a drought in any big names next week in earnings. Are they over? I think, well, certainly looks like it. We'll be back in a minute.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. With markets trading with extreme volatility and peaks and troughs everywhere, regardless of what you're looking at in the markets, this is a great time to see the type of analysis Basil Chapman delivers for his subscribers every market day with the Opening Call newsletter. Basil has been analyzing markets, providing his take for subscribers to his trading services since 1984. Every morning, Basil publishes an update for his subscribers, along with weekend and evening updates when warranted. The Opening Call provides traders a daily market overview with regard to the direction of the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, along with specific recommendations, including stops and targets. You also gain instant access to Basil's subscriber webinar archive from earlier this year, a dark cloud cover, and essential market analysis. Ride the Chapman wave today by signing up for the Opening Call newsletter on the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Last question coming in about Amazon. What do I think is going on here? Retreated a little bit off earnings. They're spending some cash. I don't see anything that changes the positive outlook over time for Amazon. The one problem that they do have is that they're going to try to drag the CEO, Mr. Citizen Kane Bezos, in front of the Senate to extract a pound of flesh. He was probably a little less than forthright on some of his answers about what's going on. And, of course, he's got a little bit of, what would you call it, negative press coming his way because, of course, he's encouraged all these folks to believe a lot of stuff that probably won't pass the smell test. And now that they've gone full bat crap crazy, he's kind of surprised. You keep throwing raw meat to a dog, eventually they're going to go right past the meat and get you. And that's kind of what's happened to Amazon these days anyway with some of its particular employees. I guess maybe it's my Midwest upbringing. Would I ever think that if I was working for a bunch of dopes, I just wouldn't leave? find some other place, because if they're that dopey, they're not going to be around that long. Well, everybody's opinion matters these days because of the internet. Mine probably least of all. I will give you that. I can't move markets, but I can observe from afar and tell people that there's probably a little bit of a problem when you get a little self-important. You probably ought to kind of look at yourself when you're telling everybody else, others. I probably didn't say that in a great way. Just thinking that Citizen Kane Bezos getting a little bit of justified time strapped with the whip, and that'll be over soon. We'll see you Monday, same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to.